Well, my plan for the day is probably not going to go as I thought it would. I was going to go to a chili cook-off and hot rod show. It happens at a church at the corner of Spring and County Line. The only problem is, it's raining. Not a sprinkle, it's raining. In previous years, the chili cook-off has been outdoors. And obviously the car show, the Hot Rods and Antiques, is outside, not inside the church. And it's raining a good amount of rain right now. I don't think you're going to have people cooking outdoors, and I don't think you're going to have a bunch of people that own hot rods and antiques are going to be putting them out in the rain. But I'm still going to go and look and see what's going on. You never know, there might be something, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen. You got to try, you got to go. It really has more to do with the old newspaper philosophy, the newspaper necessity, that you had to make photographs every day. You had to go out and make photographs every day. You couldn't come back and say, oh, it was raining, they couldn't have the show. Because that's the story. If it's raining, they can't have the show. So I got to find a way to show it's raining and that they can't have the show. You couldn't come back and say, oh, the light wasn't right. It was raining. The light wasn't right. It was just too dark, too gray. Not going to happen. Every day, the newspaper was published. Every single morning there was a paper delivered to someone's doorstep. Now that doesn't happen a lot like it used to. Newspaper circulation is down, ad revenue is down. For those of you who don't know, newspaper size every day was determined by how much ad space there was. If a lot of ads have been sold, that meant that there would be lots of pages in the paper, which meant that we would have to have lots of pictures to go in the paper to fill in those holes, those boxes around where all the ads were. You'd know you had a number of inches of news hole when you'd go to the meeting at 4 o'clock. That doesn't happen much anymore. There's not really a necessity to fill a news hole, that is, amount of physical space on printed paper. That's changed from number of column inches of space to fill to how quickly can you get it to us, how quickly can we get it out there, because it's going to change. In many respects, that for a news photographer is a greater burden than filling a news hole for a printed paper. Oh, there were deadlines. You had to shoot an 8 o'clock basketball game or a Friday night football game, a high school football game, and you had to hurry up and get a picture done. You'd shoot the first couple of minutes and you'd have to run out in a hurry and get the film processed and get your print made and get it delivered to the sports department. Or there would be an event that would be happening just at deadline time, but you had to have. It was the mayor making some announcement or some politician saying or doing something or some event happening, beginning of a rally, end of a rally. You still had to meet those deadlines, so you really had to worry about that. Now there is no physical deadline like there was before, but there is a deadline of, it will change very soon. What have you got for me next? In the internet age, in the Instagram age, it really is a lot of, what are you going to do for me now? Not what you got planned tomorrow, but what are you going to do for me now? So that burden for newspaper photographers has transitioned into being an internet photographer's burden. Again, the concern is you can't go to an assignment, come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, it just wasn't right. The light wasn't right. They didn't stand in the right place. It ran a little late. It happened early. It was yesterday. I've had that many times. Should have been here yesterday when we had all this stuff going on. Reminds me of a movie called Endless Summer. Story about guys that wanted to travel the world, finding the best places to surf. everywhere they went. They'd get there and the people would say, dude, should have been here yesterday. It was great yesterday, dude. Should have been here, man. Well, for a news photographer, there is no yesterday. Shoot today, publish tomorrow. For the new Instagram, internet age, shoot today, publish now. I'm going to guess that when I get there, the parking lot is going to be empty. I'm going to guess there's not going to be anybody outside. I'm going to guess that I'm going to have a hard time making photographs here. I'm guessing they've moved inside. Not the cars, but the cook-off. I might get a picture of a wet windshield on a car. That might be something. Don't know what I'm going to get. We're going to go inside, shoot what I can on the inside. I've shoot this place sometimes, this particular church sometimes on election day, because it's a precinct on the inside of the church. And there sometimes can be a nice picture. We might have a cross and chili in the same place. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't have any idea what's going to happen. But I'm going to go inside and see what I can find. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back in the car, as you can see. Actually turned out pretty good. I mean, considering there's no cars. Well, there's one car. Well, there's two cars. Only one's photogenic. I'll show you that in a minute. The chili cook-off had moved inside. There usually are more than 4 people with the chili. They were spread around the room. I think there were 5 altogether. One was kind of stuck off in a corner. I photographed some stuff in there. I tried to photograph what I discovered was 3 generations of men eating chili. Grandfather, father, grandson. The trouble is, it wasn't a very good picture. They weren't very close to each other physically. They had big whole open spaces. They didn't take bites at the same time, which would have been the ideal picture. They saw me and wanted to pose. I don't want posing, I want natural pictures. That was part of the problem. I then discovered that there were 4 generations of a family sitting at another table. A grandma, a daughter, a granddaughter, and twin great-granddaughters. I couldn't get all the great-granddaughters in the photograph I shot, but it's a pretty nice little picture. Here's what it looks like on the phone. I haven't done an edit yet, so it's going to have kind of a funky look to it. We'll get to it. And then, I did it with a panorama, trying to make it look a little bit better, but got a really strange look on the face right here, because she turned while I'm doing the panorama, so I doubt that I'll use that, because they'll accuse me of making them look bad. Then I went outdoors, and if we're shooting for a newspaper and you had to show that it was rained out, you would show that it was rained out, that on the ground are the pylons used to separate the cars that were going to be in the car show from the regular people, and they're reflected in the water that's puddled in the lot. It's an empty lot. Not a great picture, but it's got all the storytelling elements. That's what you need. And then I just saw this. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that to the front of their Jeep. Guess where this guy is from? That's pretty darn cool. I'll make a picture out of that. And then there were 2 cars in the parking lot. Both of them older cars, what you would call antiques, vintage. I'm vintage, I'm not antique. I'm getting there, but I'm vintage more than anything else. And I photographed this little car because there was a way to show that it was a vintage car and a way to show that it was raining. I'm not sure if you can see that there, but it'll be on the website. It'll be down here somewhere. I'll show it to you on Facebook or on YouTube or on westervilleoh.io, but that turned out to be not a bad little picture. I also shot some stuff on my SLR, mainly of the family inside. I didn't do much with the car reflected. It's more difficult to do with the SLR because I can't get as low as I'd like, be able to see what the hell I'm doing. So what began this morning as a hope-filled day that I was going to be able to shoot all sorts of great pictures at this chili cook-off and car show failed me because of the rain. So I had to make do with what I could find. Again, there is no failure. You have to produce. I had to find ideas. So I had to visit and find ideas that would work well. I observed, see what was going on, found a 3 generations and a 4th generation group, screamed, you got to take my picture. I had to work hard to get a good picture. Not sure they're great, but I got pictures. Then I had to show that the car show got canceled with the cars in the parking lot with all the rain around them. It actually turned out to be pretty decent. There are pictures I would be proud to publish and will later on today. Pictures I would be proud to publish, be happy to put my byline on so people would know that I took them. Be more than happy for people to look at them and comment on them and tell me what they think, which I will do later on. I'll be back in a minute.